before the dancing and the tattoos and all of the glitz and glam of the OF lifestyle, there was actually just a little girl named Nat, and she was going through a lot of shit. And not many people knew about that. Sometimes she wonders even if her friends knew about it. And since she's able to, and she has a platform for that, she's going to. This is Dysfunctional Alliance, the podcast where psychology, sex, and survival intersect. I'm your host, Nat, and our guest today is my childhood friend, Cierra. She was literally my best friend in middle school and actually my first girlfriend ever. So she holds the reins to that crown. This is going to be a different episode. I'm going to be really getting personal, and you guys are going to get to know even more about me and maybe from a different perspective even. And so I think this one will be really fun. Cierra, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Of course. I'm glad you're excited. I think we're going to have so much fun. She's actually hanging out with me for a couple of days, so we have so much more stuff planned after this, and it's going to be a great time. This is going to be a great episode, and I appreciate you so much for coming on. So my first question for you is something that I ask all of my guests, and that is, do you think about psychology or sex more?
Psychology.
Mm-hmm. Okay, tell me more about that. Like, are you thinking about other people's thoughts? Are you thinking about how your thoughts are, like, how your brain is being affected or how your brain's working? Is it more of a personal thing or more of like a reflecting on others thing?
Definitely, for me, it's more personal. Like, I focus a lot in my brain. Like, so, I don't know. Sometimes I think about other people. It's like what other people were, mental illnesses and stuff. But, yeah.
I love that. For me, I feel like I like psychoanalyze myself like super, super hard. Like I can tell you like why one thing triggers me down to like the moment that I gained that trigger. It's kind of weird sometimes, but I don't know. My therapist says it's good. Like I'm very good at self-reflecting or something. But my issue is that I'm not good at like acting on those reflections. So like I know what happens, like I know why it triggers me, but do I still get triggered? 1,000%. Like I always get triggered. I'm always triggered. Yesterday I had a panic attack in my car on the phone with my therapist. Christine is a real one. We love her. We love her very much. So my next question for you is, whenever we were in school, did you hear any crazy rumors about me? And what were they? You can be totally open. I'm so curious to know.
I mean, I don't think I can remember specifically like an instance, but I just feel like what I would hear mostly is that like, I don't want to say like bad, but like, you know,
No, go for
bad.
it. I was bad.
Bad influence,
Oh
I
my
guess.
gosh, I was a bad influence. No.
But I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I honestly, I am a pretty bad influence.
Yeah.
And depending on which ways, because I don't think I'm that bad of an influence anymore. Because, I do like OF, but I think I'm doing pretty damn well for myself. But when I was a kid, I was wild. I was a wild one. I was definitely like doing some freaky shit. I'm so curious to know, like, I wonder where it stemmed from. Like, that's so curious for me. Or I'm so curious about that. That's so curious for me. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm so curious about that. There's many places that it could have stemmed from. So, yeah. So on a scale from 1 to Nat on the pole, like actually going and spinning, being a little midnight ballerina back in my days, do you think I kind of lived up to my height? Do I think like in middle school? Do you think now looking back, it's like correlates?
Honestly, like 1,000%. Like even I don't know, even as like a bad influence or whatever, like you still were like one of the most educated friends that I've ever had. So
I really appreciate that.
like, yeah.
That's really sweet. I I think I lived up to the hype. Listen, I'll be like really open for a second and let you guys know just how much I lived up to the hype. This is like after I transferred schools and stuff, so like different. But if some of you guys are watching this from the high school, the last high school that I went to, you can probably vouch for this. But when I was in high school, if you wanted a nude, I was your girl. If you wanted a picture of some boobs, I was going crazy. The first time I realized that I could like waterfall was because I was texting a guy. I was Snapchatting a guy who literally, I hope you're watching this episode. Cause listen, I'm about to snitch on you. I'm not gonna say your name, but somebody, if this also happened to you, send it to him. So he like let's get this to him. There was this guy, and so I was in 10th grade, and I was just vying for the attention of anyone who like would give it to me, which is why I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I want on camera, which is so different now. Thank God I changed that mindset. But back in that day, there was this guy, he went to my high school, and he would message me, like Snapchat me on the weekends, and we would have full on sexting sessions. Like wild shit. Like sending videos. It was the whole nine. And like that, it would go like that for like 2 days, like the weekend. And then on Sunday night, he'd be like, my cousin got my phone. That was my cousin. That wasn't me sending those messages. It was actually my cousin. And I would be like, oh, that's crazy. Like, how does your cousin keep getting your phone? And why? Like, why is he using your phone to sext people? Like, that's weird as fuck. Please come up with a better lie. I hope by now a better lie has been figured out, because that's outlandish for real. Like, what are we actually doing? So I'm kind of shifting gears a little bit, and I'm kind of getting a little bit heavier, a little bit deeper, but that's kind of like what the whole meaning of the episode is, or the whole meaning of the podcast is like really getting to like the deeper levels of things. And this is about getting to the deeper levels of me today, I guess. So I don't think, like, from my perspective, I don't think anybody really knew that there was like trauma happening to me, like at home. But that's just from my perspective, and maybe that's from a perspective of like loneliness, or just like thinking that it wasn't noticeable. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of like noticed little things that were like being said and things like that. And so I'm curious, was it ever like noticeable when we were in school, like that something different was going on for me?
I can't speak for other people, but I think for myself, like, I only knew what you would tell me, which wasn't everything, obviously. But I mean, I knew it wasn't great. And I don't know, there were definitely days that you could tell you were not doing good, and days that you were doing really well. And yeah. So
something that always sticks out to me is like specifically in the time like of like our era when we were like close. Something that really sticks out for me from that era, like specifically my middle school era, and like what was happening for me, is I was on the truant list like all the time. They always were trying to get me for truancy, and it was like I was like literally so upset about it, because I was like a nerd, like a real bookworm. I was always reading. Do you remember AR?
yes.
I was always on the computer taking an AR test and getting to the AR movies and stuff like that. And I always wanted to be at school because I hated being at home. And so I would get those, like, the principal or the guidance counselor or whatever, he would call me to his office and he'd be like, you're missing too much school. And I'm like, bro, like, literally, that is not my fault. I'm trying my best. There were, like, specific times that I was, like, falling asleep in class. Like, I was always sleeping in class. I don't even remember this teacher's name, but I remember specifically it was, like, her science class. And I would always just, like, I would be slumped in that class. There was one time, and this, you'll understand this. I've told this story to people, and they don't really get what I'm saying when I say this because they don't know the distances. So think where our middle school was, like the original one, not the new, like the adult one. So like the old one.
Yeah.
Think where that is. So one time to get to my school, or to get to school, like I'm saying this to you guys, to get to my school, I had to like, I lived in Steubenville, so I was like I was like the open enrollment. And so I had to catch the city bus at like 6 in the morning and go to the college. I'm not going to say like specific names. I had to take the city bus to the college, and then I caught the school bus from the college to like the school. But one time I like missed my city bus to the college, and I was like, my dad is gonna beat the fuck out of me if he knows that I missed the bus. And so I was like, I'm not gonna tell him. Like, I have to just get to school. And so I think this is why I'm so independent now, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this shit because like this is what I was doing in 7th grade. This was me in 7th grade. So like, keep these distances in mind. I went to EGCC, realized I said the school. I went to the school and I realized I missed the bus. And then I was like, okay, so I guess I'll just catch the next city bus to Mingo. And so I caught the city bus. And to get to the city bus, I just said the city. Whatever. It is what it is. If you guys want to know where I'm from, piece the shit together, I guess. I was like, I had to catch the city bus to Mingo somehow. And I didn't know that it was going to be so difficult, but I had to catch it from EGCC to the bus station downtown, Steubenville.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like crazy shit. Like, it was like homeless people and shit. 12-year-old me's like, hey, friend.
Yeah.
Do you know where I catch the green line? Like, crazy. So I caught the bus from the downtown place to Mingo. And it took like 3 hours. Like, I had to wait like 3 hours at the bus station to get that because it doesn't go there very often. So I had to wait like 3 hours. And then the bus didn't like drop off by the school because it's the fucking city bus. It's not, why would it drop off at a middle school? That's weird. Why would it drop off at a middle school? But yeah, so I had to they dropped me off like so far away from. I walked like 25 minutes through Mingo. So like all those hills and shit.
Oh yeah.
To get to school.
That's a lot.
And then they called me to the office to say I was late. I was like, I'm about to actually like do something bad right now. Like, please stop talking to me. It was like I damn near the whole school day of me trekking through the city as a little girl, like meeting crazy people, scary people, and all because I didn't want my dad to be mad at me. And so I'm like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, nobody noticed, but then I'm like, you came to school sweaty. There's no way you weren't sweating. You probably smelled bad. Like, you weren't being like told to do all the things you're supposed to do to like not smell bad. And you just walked for 30 minutes. So it's a bad day for you. And I feel like that's pretty noticeable. You know, I don't know. Personally, like when I think about it like that, I'm like, maybe you're tripping. Maybe like some people were like, she's weird and she smells like sweat. I probably did. They're not wrong. Next question. This episode's going to seem all over the place because it's been a week. If you watched last week's episode, you know that it's been pretty hectic. And today's no different. It's still hectic, but everything's fine. So, next. I think a lot of times people kind of underestimate how powerful and how strong you have to be to still be funny, like after going through like a bunch of shit and like being like pretty traumatized, still being able to be like, you know what, I want to do this. I want to hit these goals. I want to be the funniest bitch like that you ever did see, the funniest podcast maybe. I mean, it's not really. I'm kind of funny, if I do say so myself, but I digress. Anyways, that said, do you think that that helps like kind of get you through and like I guess also pushed me, but also for on a personal note for you. Do you think that that funniness and sense of humor and that like kind of strength that it takes, do you think it kind of pushes you to do more and get outside of your comfort zone and push your boundaries a little bit?
I definitely think so. I mean, you wouldn't be in the position you are had you not gone through everything you've been through. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have that mindset. You wouldn't have, you could, like, if you didn't want to, you could be way worse off. And
Listen,
a lot of people could, but
I think about that sentence a lot. I appreciate you for saying that. And I really do think about this because there's a statistic and it's so like disheartening.
yeah.
Less than 3% of people who age out of foster care get a college degree of any kind. Like vocational school,
Yeah.
associates, like going up even farther than like an associate's or bachelor's is like crazy work. It's like probably like in the point somethings percent. And so sometimes I do think about that because that is so accurate. I am really, I take a lot of pride in the fact that I really tried to give myself a different path. And I have friends that aged out of foster care and they weren't able to like do the same thing. Maybe they had the chance, but they just weren't able to like do that for themselves.
Yeah.
And so I really do take a lot of pride in the fact that I was like, no, I'm not gonna let all that shit happen. And I really have like a lot of goals so that I can help. I want to be able to help little me basically. Like
Exactly.
that's like a big thing for me. For Thanksgiving last year, this like it kind of like was doing that for me because for Thanksgiving I like, and this isn't to like brag or anything like that, but for Thanksgiving I made like a big dinner and I just made a whole bunch of to go boxes and like posted in a Facebook group, like, hey, does
Yeah.
anybody need an extra, like I have extra Thanksgiving dinners basically. And so we ended up handing out like 22 boxes. And one of the big batches that we sent was to this family. And whenever we gave it to them, they gave us this like note. And it was these two cards from the two girls in the family, and it had like their names on it and their ages and their grades and stuff like that. But the one girl, the older sister, she wrote like a note, and it literally brings tears to my eyes. She was like, my mom has been going through a lot, and we wouldn't have had Thanksgiving dinner if it wasn't for the kindness of you and your family. And we're just really grateful for that. And I sat there and like bawled my
Oh.
eyes out. Like I was just like, are you kidding me? And
Yes.
now it's on my fridge because I'm like, I love her and I hope she's doing so good. And literally, that was like my moment that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Because I was the girl that was getting like a Thanksgiving dinner from some stranger or
Yeah.
like going to the mission to pick up my own Christmas gifts that were donated.
Right.
Like, that is what I was like experiencing. So now I'm like, cool, I
Yeah.
get to experience helping that person because yeah, those moments are always, they were always so great for me. Like being a kid and being like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I got a bike because somebody donated a bike. That was always so lit.
Exactly.
And now I'm like, I could be the person that donates the bike. That's even more lit. I freaking love that.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about pride. We're a little bit late, but that's fine. Do you still identify as bisexual? Yes, same. I actually think I am starting to veer more up towards pansexual because I'm to the point now where I don't want to say now as if like I don't know, but I'm to the point where I'm like, really, I just don't care. Like, I'm like, if you are if you're a transgender person and you surprise me, I'm not gonna care. I'm gonna be like, wow, I I don't care what's in your pants. Because I'm like, I like you. Like, yeah, literally, like, it doesn't matter. And so now I think I'm leaning more towards pansexual, which a lot of people say, oh, that's just bi with more labels. But I think some bi people are still pretty, like, discriminatory sometimes. Exactly. And so I feel like that's where pansexual kind of, like, gets its wings and it's able to blossom. Yeah. Do you remember how we even, like, decided that we were going to start dating each other? Like, how you became my girlfriend?
I don't specifically.
I don't even know if there was like a conversation. I think we were just like, I think maybe one day we were just like, I like girls. And then we were like, I like girls too. We're like, well, seems like the best thing to do. Seems like that's what the next step here is. All I remember is like one time we were in that bathroom, like all the way at the end of the hallway. And we kissed like super quick. And I was like, oh my gosh, I kissed a girl. I kissed my girlfriend. And I felt so happy and so like, I was so full of pride that day. Like literally, I was like, look at me. Little gay icon. Stop.
I do specifically remember in like the art room, everyone was leaving. And, like, as soon as everyone walked out, you just grabbed me and like kissed me. Yes. And I was like... Like it made my whole day.
Yeah, I was like, I was that girl for real. I was like, come here. I
was like, okay.
That's freaking hilarious. That is so funny. Honestly, I really feel like I've always just been, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. I feel like I got a lot of hate, like especially as I was getting older. I feel like I kind of went out of my way to show people that I liked girls. Just to kind of do that, just to like, because I did like girls. And so I didn't want people to be like, oh, like I didn't want people to bi shame me basically. Like I didn't want them to be like, you can't be bi if you like, or if you have a boyfriend. So I would just always date like girls, even if it wasn't a girl that I was really attracted to. I would just be like, look, this is my girlfriend. Because you should know that I do like girls. I'm glad I grew out of that phase, and now I'm just like, I can like whoever I want to like, and I don't have to worry about that. But I remember one time I was like sophomore year, and I was dating this girl, and whenever like you left the school, there was like rows of buses lined up, and so you like walked to your bus, and everybody went out at the same time. And everybody would like we're in high school. So all of the couples would like kiss and, you know, like hug and do all their thing. They'd walk out holding hands and they'd get on the bus and kiss beforehand or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, we can do the same thing. Like, what's the issue with that? And so we started doing it. And the one day, the bus driver that was like driving my bus, whenever I got on the bus, after literally we watched other people do the same thing. He was like, you're not allowed to do that. And I was like, allowed to do what? And he was like, doing all that kissing and stuff. Like, that's disgusting. And I've always been like a very like sense of justice-y person. Like I have a very strong sense of justice. And so I was like arguing with him on the bus. I was like, did you just watch all of those other couples kiss each other and think that they were disgusting? Exactly. Or is it just because it's two girls, because we're the only two girls? And I made a big ruckus about that. Low-key, I probably could have sued. I think about it sometimes. I'm like, maybe I could have. Potentially. So you are a spicy girl like me. Yeah. And I think sometimes people get this like perspective of us or perception where they're like, they're just like in relationships just to be in them, or that's just superficial. They can't, that some people think we can't even be in relationships, or some people think that we can't like love very hard. Yeah. And I think that is such a, like, it's so incorrect. So I'm curious, do you love hard, and do you think that it's kind of crazy for people to think that, or?
I think it is very crazy. Like I wasn't even expecting to be in the relationship that I'm in now. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And for a minute, it did kind of put like a dent in my content making, because all I wanted to do was see him. And like, I'm just glued to him, it feels like.
Yeah, so, glued to the hip for sure. I totally feel that. I have separation anxiety too, so I'm like, don't go.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to leave. So yeah, I definitely get that. And people, I think it's so funny because people only see like this one side of us, the side that we like decide to show people.
Yeah.
So it's like they only know whatever we want them to know. And so they probably think that we can't love hard because
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know what's been said. I guess maybe one too many girls have made a joke about like cheating or something, and now guys are like, oh, they're all like that. And I think that's just insane.
It
I think it's
is.
very stereotypical. And like when you're in the industry, you realize like
Yeah.
there's a lot of stereotypes.
There
And
is.
a lot of them are incorrect. Um, okay, this is a fun one. Sorry. This is a fun one. What would you say to a younger version of me if you could talk to her right now? Like us, if you were talking to like your first or your girlfriend in middle school, what would you say to her? No.
Honestly, I don't know. I would give her a hug
Oh.
because I knew she was going through a lot, you know. But
Cute.
I don't know. I would tell her she was beautiful and I should have appreciated that a lot more. But I was just nervous at first girlfriend, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I really appreciate that. Honestly, and I really do want to say like having anyone on my in my corner at that point in my life was so important to me. And so like having a friend to even talk to about anything or to like really not even to talk to about my problems because like my thing was I loved school because I was able to like remove myself
Yeah.
from the situations that I was going through. And so you were kind of like my removal. And so I really appreciate you for that. Even if we like grow up and grew apart, like I will
Yeah.
always appreciate that like Cierra was there for me and we had our fun times even when there was so much crazy shit going on
Yeah.
in the background.
There was.
There was so much. Okay, my last question for you, I'm kind of skipping through. My last question for you is what do you think that version of me, like that younger version of me, would think about me now?
I think she would be very proud and feel very accomplished. Maybe shocked, honestly.
Oh my God. Listen, on a real note, there were a lot of moments that like I thought that that was going to be like my year, like if you know what I mean. Like I thought, and some of them are really young, and so I get like a little bit sad thinking back about her because
Yeah.
the first time that I did like try was I think in seventh grade, and it was like really close. I overdosed on insulin. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. You can bleep that out if needed. But I took way too much insulin and I wasn't diabetic. And so like I really almost like did the job.
Yeah.
And I think back and I'm like, holy shit, like literally, and there was so much. Like that girl that was like, I'm gonna do this, she really did have the weight of the world on her shoulders. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying not to get emotional right now, but I understand where her mind was, and it was like I get why she thought that that was like her only solution, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy that that wasn't the end because so many things I would have missed out on,
Yeah.
and I would be so shocked. Like I would never guess that this is my life. I'm honestly like I'm very much still at the beginning of my journey, and I'm somewhere that I never even thought that this was possible.
Exactly.
And so, like, 12-year-old me would literally shit her pants. And also, she would be ecstatic about the tattoos. Like,
She would.
literally, she'd be the happiest girl in the world. Like, look at that. Look at her with all those tattoos. Like, I love it because, yeah, I wanted tattoos so bad when I was younger. and now I'm covered in them. And honestly, it really like my journey with tattoos really kind of meshes into that little like 12-year-old girl, because I did like things that I shouldn't have done because I wanted to feel some pain that wasn't like inside of me.
Yeah.
And so I was like doing some other things. And so whenever I turned 18, I was literally like, okay, I'm not gonna scar my body anymore. I'm not gonna add any more scars. And so like even though I do want to feel pain, I'm just gonna make it pretty.
Yeah, you
And
make it beautiful.
Yeah, and so I'm like, no more scars for me. I'm just gonna have like, maybe it's kind of a scar, not really, but it's like permanent, just like a scar. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's pretty, and it hurts probably worse. Like, it was really, really a game changer. And I'm really excited for that. And I'm glad that we learned that. 12-year-old Nat would really also be very excited. You know, I think I said my real name in this a few times. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's fine. You guys are learning a lot. Well, that was Cierra. Thank you so much, Cierra, for coming on. Can you tell everybody where they can find you?
On Instagram, it would be Sweet Justine X, or just Sweet Justine, most other places. So
awesome. That's Sweet Justine. So you guys can go find her there. Thank you so much for coming on. Well, that was Cierra, my middle school best friend, someone who witnessed some of my craziest eras, and somebody who got to see me go from survival mode to boss mode. If you ever wondered how a little foster kid got to turn into a content creator with a microphone and a platform, you got to know a little bit about that today. Thank you guys so much for watching Dysfunctional Alliance. Shout out to the rumors, shout out to the trauma, and shout out to Cierra for being part of the before and the after. I will see you guys all next week. Bye.